November 16th at 7:30 p.m.
Councilwoman Selby,
Present.
Councilman Kearney,
Present.
Supervisor Keating,
Present.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Present.
Councilwoman Martin.
Not present.
Thank you. And Councilwoman Lukacek, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, under preliminary matters, unfortunately, we do not have an opening prayer this evening. So we'll move on. We have no other preliminary matters. We'll move on to regular business. Under item number 2 for regular business, item number 1 is the correction and adoption of the minutes from the November 2nd, 2022 board meeting. And Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. After reviewing and reading the minutes of November 2nd, I would like to say there is no corrections or omissions, and I'd like to make a motion to approve those minutes from November 2nd.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes?
Councilman Kearney,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 2 under regular business tonight is the consideration of all fund bills. And Councilman Keating, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. I've reviewed the fund bills, and I make a motion that we pay them in the amount of $238,147.08.
Second?
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes?
Councilman Kearney,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 3 tonight is our correspondence. There are 5 items for correspondence. The first item is the Town of Boston Dog Control Officer Report for October 2022. That's been received and filed with the Town Clerk's Office. Item 2 is the Town Clerk's Monthly Report for October 2022. Item number 3 is October 2022 Income Statement. Item number 4 is the Association of Towns 2023 Annual Meeting and Training School information. And item 5 is the Association of Towns letter to assign a delegate to their meeting. Again, all 5 of those items have been received and filed with the Town Clerk's Office. Item number 4 tonight is new business. Item number 1, as usual, is request from the floor. Anyone that is part of the audience is welcome to come up to the microphone, state your name, address, and you have 3 minutes. The floor is open.
My name is Mitch Tucker. I live on Parkside Drive. I just want to give a shout out to Bob and his crew for plowing the streets and everything tonight.
Thank you. All right, with no further comments, I will close the floor. We do have public hearings. They're scheduled at 7:40, but since we don't have too many people here, we'll move right into those. So item number 2 is a public hearing for the Boston Emergency Squad contract. And Councilwoman Lukacek, would you like to read that public hearing?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Can you hear me? Actually, why don't you give that to someone else?
Okay. Yeah, I can take it. You okay?
Yeah, I'm just going to grab some water.
Okay, no problem. Okay, the public notice for the Town of Boston public hearing. Please take notice that the Boston Town Board, Erie County, New York, will hold a public hearing at the November 16th, 2022 Town Board meeting to extend the Boston Emergency Services contract for the purpose of furnishing ambulance service to the Town of Boston in the amount of $84,424, which will be allocated as follows: $58,000 for general operating costs, $12,000 for liability insurance, and $14,424 as the annual installment due on September 29th, 2023 to Evans Bank for ambulance unit number 815, together with the town's agreement to furnish certain facilities and to reimburse certain expenses associated with providing such ambulance service. Public hearing will be held at Boston Town Hall, 8500 Boston State Road, Boston, New York, on Wednesday, November 16th, 2022 at 7:40 p.m. All persons interested in the matter shall be heard for or against at such time and place. Dated November 2nd, 2022, published November 4th, 2022, by order of the Town Board, Sandra L. Quinlan, Town Clerk, and Equal Opportunity Provider and Employer. I'll make a motion to open the floor. Just open it. I'll just open the floor. Okay. With no comment, I will close the floor.
Sorry, getting over a sinus infection.
All right, the next item we have, item number 3 is the public hearing for fire contracts. Councilman Cardicini, would you like to take that item?
Thank you Supervisor Keating. Public notice, Town of Boston, notice of public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the Boston Town Board, Erie County, New York, will hold a public hearing for proposed fire protection contracts between the 3 Boston fire companies and the Town of Boston. This public hearing will be held at the Boston Town Hall, 8500 Boston State Road, Boston, New York, on Wednesday, November 16th, 2022 at 7:40 p.m. North Boston Volunteer Fire Company will be paid $205,132 for the 2023 and $215,389 for 2024 for furnishing of fire protection. Patchen Volunteer Fire Company will be paid $205,132 for 2023 and $215,389 for 2024 for the furnishing of fire protection. Boston Volunteer Fire Company Incorporated will be paid $205,132 for 2023 and $215,389 for 2024 for the furnishing of fire protection. All persons interested in the matter shall be heard for or against at such time and place, dated November 2nd, 2022, published November 4th, 2022, by order of the Town Board. Sandra L. Quinlan, Town Clerk. This institution is an equal opportunity provider and employer.
We'll open the floor for any comment. With no comment, we'll close the floor. All right. Item number 4 tonight is Resolution 2022-82, authorizing contract for general ambulance ambulance service with Boston Emergency Squad. And Councilwoman Lukacek, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The Town of Boston desires to provide by contract for general ambulance service and with first aid for those persons who require such services within the boundaries of the town. Whereas Boston Emergency Squad Incorporated offers such services and is the current provider of such services for our town. The terms of the proposed agreement between the town and Boston Emergency Squad are set forth in this contract. And what is the date then? As of January 1st, correct? 2022? It should say 23.
I think where it says contract, I believe that is the day that it would be signed. Is that how the resolution is written?
The proposed agreement between the town and Boston
That would be
Emergency
correct. Would
Squad.
be the date that it's signed, so it'll be this calendar year.
So it's for January 1st, 2022
The date that it'll be signed.
to be signed. A public hearing on the proposed agreement was held tonight. After due deliberation, we believe that this is in the best interest of the town to execute the contract. And that would, the contract dated today,
Today's date, November 16th.
November 16th. Okay, so I make a motion that we pass resolution number 2022-82.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right. Item number 5 tonight is Resolution 2022-83, authorizing contracts for fire protection services. Councilman Cardicini, would you like to take that item?
Thank you Supervisor Keating. I'd like to make a motion that we pass Resolution 2022-83, which authorizes contracts for fire protection services in the equal amounts for each fire company, North Boston Fire Company, Patchen Fire Company, and Boston Fire Company for the 2023 and 2024 calendar years, with potential for renewals of the 2025 and 2026 calendar years. Following a public hearing held on November 16, 2022, there were no comments for or against it. And again, I make the motion that we approve the fire contracts.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Cardini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukaszek?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Yep. Item number 6 tonight is Resolution 2022-84, allocating the 2022 funds to the Ambulance Capital Reserve Fund. And Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2022-84, whereas the Boston Emergency Squad's oldest ambulance was purchased in 2008 and thus aging, and whereas the town board established the Ambulance Capital Reserve Fund in 2015 to accumulate monies to finance the cost of a future ambulance purchase, and whereas the 2022 contract for the general ambulance services with the Boston Emergency Squad notes that the town shall make a contribution to an ambulance reserve fund for the squad in the amount of $40,000 for the 2022 contract year. Therefore, the town board is adding equipment funds to the ambulance capital reserve fund in the amount of $40,000 from capital ambulance equipment account SM 45-40-200. And that those funds will be invested and reported under the same provisions set forth in resolution number 2015-12. I'd like to make a motion to approve this resolution.
Second?
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Cardini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukaszek?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 7 tonight under new business is Resolution 2022-85, which is amending the 2022 budget to appropriately account for the AIM funding, which AIM, AIM stands for Aid and Incentives to Municipalities. I'll take this item tonight. So this item, in the 2019 to 2020 enacted state budget reduced to the traditional aid and incentives to municipalities, again AIM, programming funding by $59 million by eliminating payments to approximately 1,300 towns and villages where AIM funding represented less than 2% of total expenditures. And then whereas the 2019 to 2020 enacted state budget also amended the tax law to provide that portion of a county-imposed sales tax revenues to be distributed this year and every future year to fund the gap in revenues resulting from the elimination of AIM monies. Whereas this enacted state budget eliminated the above-mentioned AIM-related payments and any withholdings from county sales tax collections used to fund them while reestablishing the prior AIM program pursuant to Chapter 55 of the laws of 2022. Whereas the town of Boston anticipated to receive $49,689 in the AIM-related funding in 2022 budget to be booked to A is an Alpha 2750 AIM-related payments, and whereas the New York State Office and State Comptroller stated in a payment invoice noted received by the town on September 19, 2022, that the $49,689 AIM revenue should be booked to revenue code A is an Alpha 3001, state aid revenue sharing. So that now therefore be resolved, we're going to be transferring those funds from the increase, those two funds to properly account for those monies. And I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-85.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Cardini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukaszek?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, we have no other old business tonight, so we're moving on to reports and presentations. Councilwoman Selby, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I am still working with waste management on some of the areas in the town that are difficult for the use of the totes. Had a meeting this week on Monday, and I'm hoping that we can get it resolved with placement of the totes in a safe manner. Need to speak with the highway superintendent on hopefully maybe making the drive a little bit wider to have room for these totes. So certain areas it has been a problem, and we're trying to work through that. It's not easy, and with this weather approaching, it's probably not going to get any easier, and we just appreciate your patience, and I appreciate the support again from the supervisor and the clerk's office fielding those calls, and as well, Sean's been a real asset to me as well lately. So I thank you all for that, and everybody stay safe out there. Looks like it's gonna be a little dicey, so thanks to Bob for keeping the road safe as Matt had indicated. So that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you very much. Councilman Carnegie, you have the floor.
Thank you Supervisor Keating. I'd like to thank the members of the squad and the fire companies for all their time they dedicated to working with the town for the contracts for the new year. Pretty happy with the discourse and the work that was involved, and also wanted to thank them all for their dedicated and ongoing service to the town. And that's all I have tonight.
All right, thank you very much. Councilwoman Lukacek, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Just to let folks know that the zoning board for December 1st meeting is canceled. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, you have the floor.
Thank you Supervisor Keating. DEC leftover deer management permits are available for a limited amount of areas. So if there are any hunters that are interested, just stop into the clerk's office and we will check the website to see what is available. Saturday, December 3rd, Churchill will be having their annual Christmas cookie and bake sale. The doors open at 9 a.m. They'll probably, everything will be gone in a couple of hours, I'm sure. So if anyone's interested, be there at close to 9 o'clock. The next Connect Life Blood Drive is Tuesday, December 6th from 2 to 7 p.m. in the community room. And compliments of the Conservation Advisory Council and Chairman Mitch Tucker. They have provided some 2023 calendars and postcards that are available to the residents. The pictures were provided from the residents in the community that ended up on that calendar and those postcards. So just stop into my office and take a look to see what we have available. And that is all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, it's that time of the season. The first snowstorm is coming in this afternoon. Actually, the town's emergency manager, myself, and I invited Highway. Of course, the snow came in a lot sooner than anticipated, but there was a call with the county executive, National Weather Service. We also had NITEC and others on the call. So some of this information hasn't been officially released yet, but I think we've been clear to share this at our town board meetings for those municipalities who had it. But for the storm, for those who haven't heard from the National Weather Service, or tonight's 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock news at this time, the snowstorm is anticipated to bring 1 to 2 inches of snow to the area overnight potentially. I actually was looking at the band a little while ago. It looks like it's going to be pretty heavy. So of course our roads are slick here, but the county is their numbers. As of right now, they have all of their trucks out on the roads. There's 37 trucks. There's a total of 45, but they're running 2 shifts because in the overnight hours, according to Mike Fries from the National Weather Service, most of this snow is going to be coming in the late day and overnight hours. So just to stay on top of it, they're trying to create 2 shifts, kind of like back there, and I use the term COVID, but during the COVID days where it's kind of a shift A and shift B. That's the methodology that they're using. Because then going into tomorrow night into Friday, we're potentially going to be experiencing here in Boston snowfall rates of 2 to 3 inches per hour. And to put that in perspective, the reason I bring in county plowing is because the county plow routes can range between 2 and 4 hours per route. So sadly, if your county plow drives by your house and it's a 3 or 4 hour route later, you're looking at 6 to 8 inches of snow on the road before that next plow truck rolls through. And again, that's assuming that the conditions, I will say, are perfect. With that being said, the county Governor, respectively, Governor Hochul has declared a state of emergency already, and that happened just this evening. So the thruway is shut down to commercial traffic from Rochester all the way down to the Pennsylvania border. There may be areas that are completely shut down tomorrow, depending on how big the snow band is. Ironically, this weather pattern is similar to the Winter Storm Knife. We're actually talking to the same exact day, which is really weird. But the last storm was 6 miles in length. This one's anticipated to be 20 miles in length, meaning that it could reach as far as to Monroe County. With that being said, the additional precautions that are being taken, the county executive has stated that he will potentially declare a state of emergency at some point tomorrow, which then at which point will give him the powers to institute a driving ban. That decision will be made either late tomorrow after, again, all depending on weather patterns here, but late tomorrow, likely after evening rush hour, or by, at the latest between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the morning on Friday. That way, the citizens would have enough notice before they go into work to essentially stay home. County Hall will be shut down on Friday. There will be no county hall offices open on Friday. The county executive has already made the decision to advise everyone to work from home. And outside of that, it's essentially just stay tuned to your local news station. Make sure that you do have an extra bottle of water. If you do go out on the roads, please make sure you have a bottle of water, the cell phone charging cables for your cell phones, just in case you do happen to go off the road or get stuck in a snowdrift. We really don't know exactly what we're going to be dealing with, but snowfall rates of 2 to 3, 4 inches per hour. The areas most heavily hit are anticipated to receive between 3 to 4 feet of snow within this snowfall or this storm that's coming up. I think I pretty much covered everything there. So the one thing I did want to bring up, and the county executive had asked, is that there's been a lot of question about if there's a driving ban, what does that mean to me? Unless you have essentially a letter or you're authorized by your employer to get and you're deemed as essential, if, gosh forbid, you go off the road or are pulled over, it is a Class B misdemeanor. That's something that law enforcement handles. It has nothing to do with any of us here at, sitting on this town board. But he did express just to let people know that if that does come to fruition here and that decision is made, please try to stay off the roads. The whole reason for this, of course, we live in Buffalo. Yes, we're used to snow. But if a vehicle goes off the road, whether it's they slide off the road or gets stuck on the shoulder, the snowplows can't go through. So the main premise of this to keep the motor vehicles off the road is so that the plows can do their job and keep the roads clear. Because in the I guess I'll say the alternate here is if the roads can't be cleared, then you have to bring in high list to clear that out. So we are working with the state agencies. New York State is sending assets to the Western New York region. NYSEG actually did this evening when we were downstairs. They've already sent additional assets into the area for potential power outages, ice, because it's anticipated heavy wet snow. As information comes out, for those that are on social media, please stay tuned to the town website, town's Facebook page. I'll try to keep as much information out there as possible, as quickly as I receive it. That's all the updates I have for tonight. So with that, I will make a motion to end the meeting at 7:52 p.m.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Karakini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
I did forget one thing. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And yes,
And the town hall will be closed next Thursday and Friday.
there we go. Yes, and thank you, Madam Clerk. The town hall will be closed next Thursday and Friday. Thank you.
Where was it? Did I stop at Supervisor?
I'll say yes.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Lukacek?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried, meeting adjourned.